What's good, duelists? We're here at YYZ, site of a famous Rush instrumental that Live in Rio sang along with. We just came back from YCS Niagara Falls. Here's what I played. I went 4-3 before I lost to Roarkallos in round 7. It's almost the same list as my last video, but might as well archive it here. Got it all ordered. Let's get into the 60 card pile. Got the usual same 3 starters, Performapal, Skullcrabat, Joker. You're probably searching Supreme King Gate Magician with it, but there's other magicians that can search, which is handy. Still one of the best starters. Got the 3 Dark Worms. The vendors didn't have secret rare Dark Worms. Can you believe that? Who's out here playing Pendulum? Sometimes I scale it if I think my opponent might have a lot of interruption, although being able to only pen summon Dark and having 0-5 scales is quite a restriction, but sometimes you can still do stuff through it. And of course we have the usual power spells to go with it. 3 Dragon Shrines and a Platinum Rare Foolish Burial. There's a little bit of collision with Kashtira monsters though, so I'm thinking I should start playing Destrudo in here as like a backup option. You could use it to lower life points and summon a Psychic End Punisher. We got 3 of what is secretly the actual starter of the deck. The old 1 card takes care of your low scale, and then when you pen summon it back, it gets you an excellent search. Lots of routes to this card. It's pretty important. Some people on Master Duel are playing 2 donuts. I don't really mess with that, but something to think about. Maybe there's room for it in 60 cards. To go with that, we're playing a bit of a Magician package. We got Wisdom Eye, which can turn into Harmonizing for a high scale with a stat boost, or Black Fang Magician, which can give you extension if you get Nibiru'd to shrink the Nibiru on their side and then summon Beyond the Pendulum from your graveyard for some link material. Yeah, Wisdom Eye is great because if you can use this as your high scale and then destroy this to get Supreme King Magician in low scale, or if you open Gate Magician, you can get your high scale taken care of and then search something nicer with Beyond the Pendulum. This is also a Zark ingredient if it goes to your face-up extra deck, so you might get to use your Gate Magician's hand effect more than once in a duel. Finishing up the Supreme King package as well is 3 Lightworm. I think you should play 3 if you're going to play an over 40 list like this, because it's nice to just hard open. It means you won't have to search for it. If you open Gate Magician in this is a normal summon, and then you can put the Gate Magician back in your hand, activate it in your hand. Now you got 2 bodies for Beyond. Just having a level 4 tuner with absolutely no restrictions is just good. It's definitely the better level 4 tuner than Harmonizing Magician, I think. Also a level 4 light for some Chaos Angel plays, which is, I guess, is a new addition that I can get into. And finishing off the Supreme King package is 2 Wings of Light and 3 Pendulum Evolution. This is kind of the same as before. Wings of Light's a hard once per turn, so opening both would be a brick. I guess you could have the next one for next turn, but it would be better to have a monster you can just Pendulum summon. Pend Evolution is at 3 because this can help you search for Astrograph Sorcerer, and if you already have a way to get to Gate Magician, it means you can make your rank 7 early and force your opponent to use Nibiru before you Pendulum summon. I think I demonstrated that combo in the last deck profile. Yeah, this is just nice to hard open because it means you can use your Gate Magician to search for a Lightworm to Pendulum summon, or use as your high scale, or you could just get a Wings of Light to have a backup search for next turn. Card's real good.
What's the ruling?
Rounding out,
Gigantic gets impermed or some sort of effect.
the 2-lock is part of the effect. Anyway, back to the video. We got 3 Chronograph Sorcerer with different rarities, and the Garnet, the Time Gazer Magician, to summon from the deck. You're never going to scale it because of that yucky restriction. Even if you negate it with Beyond the Pendulum, once it's stuck there, you'll be stuck with 0-4 scales. So make sure to get it out of your high scale with the Ignis through Prominence Rocks combo, which I might talk about in this video. Yeah, it's pretty important to have 3 of this guy. You can search a backup one with Astrograph as well. You just kind of need random extenders to surprise the opponent with, for those who have forgotten Pendulum monsters. No, the restriction's part of the effect. And there's the 1 Astrograph. Great to search with Pendulum Evolution. I don't think I've searched for this with the Beyond the Pendulum before, but yeah, he's still the boss. Speaking of extenders, we got 3 Disablaster the Negation Fortress. This is great to summon with Exceed the Pendulum into the column that your opponent activated an important spell into. Lots of funny plays you can do with this. Unfortunately, level 5 doesn't really work for Chaos Angel in this list, but it's something to think about. We're back to this size Magispector package. I would like to expand this with like Yada for Wind and Yamarashi. That'll probably be in the next list. As for the next package I'll go into here, we got more extension in the Draco Face-Off package with 2 Draco Overlords and a Draco Slayer. This is the list I registered, but I was able to pick up 2 more Kirins from the vendor, so I just instantly swapped this for a second Kirin. I noticed I was always siding this out after game 1 to make room for more breaker stuff for going second, or I'm usually against Tenpai and they're just going to shifter me anyway, so I would just side out the Dragon Shrine Juice. Like, what ended up happening is I would probably put the Dark Worm back in my hand and then use this as the level 4 to summon from grave with Beyond the Pendulum at the end of the combo to either Synchro for Ignis or Prominence with, or just use this for Abyss Dweller. But it doesn't come up that much. Maybe it's an emergency low scale. Maybe you draw this and you have a backup one in the deck, but it's so unlikely in 60 cards. I don't think you need 2 Draco Overlords if you're playing this big of a list. I think maybe the way forward, now that we have all these Mulcharmies actually, is to just max out on Draco Slayer and maybe even play a second copy of Secret Village. Like, your response to a Mulcharmy should just be to get to Secret Village as fast as possible. So just, if you can just hard open a Majesty Draco Slayer, then there you go, that's all you need. Okay, and other big package to get into, the Kashtira package. 3 Raid So, 3 Fenrir, 1 Unicorn, 1 Birth. These are amazing starters. As usual, you can start with Fenrir, search Unicorn, pen summon the Unicorn. If you can get a second Pendulum summon with Pendulum Evolution, you can get both out that way. I would recommend putting Unicorn on your end board instead of Fenrir. I think people are used to playing around Fenrir or having removal dodging, but with Unicorn, you can rip Anima or their Link 2 Charmer out of their extra deck, so they absolutely can't wrestle out of the Secret Village lock. You can take away Crimson Dragon, you can take away their Little Knight or their Typhon.
I was about to say that.
Even and against Tenpai, you'll see 2 Biden Dragons in there. You should just remove both of them anyway, because you'll get to remove one on your turn and then one on their turn, and they just won't have it. Last part of the engine is 1 Secret Village. This is the field spell you get with Ignis or Prominence. Even if you get Charmied, just try to get to this as fast as possible and watch your opponent squirm with their useless hand.
Make it a 3F, man.
Maybe I should. I got 2. And last, I guess we have the non-engine, if you don't count the Kashtiras. 3 Talents and a Called by the Grave. I know we're playing 60 cards, playing 1 might be silly, but Pendulum end boards don't have a way to interact with the opponent's graveyard, so even if they aren't playing hand traps, it's just still a great card to find. And Talent is also just great because you only need 1 Pendulum monster to link summon Beyond the Pendulum, so you just take the problem guy from your opponent's board and link it off to keep it from being destroyed. So that's our 60 card main deck. On to the extra. We got 2 Beyond the Pendulum. Not so much for Kashtira Unicorn defense, but if this gets negated and you can get an extra body out, you can just link summon a second one and try again. Because the first effect is actually not once per turn. And you just want another one for turn 3 to break their board and get more pluses and finish them off. The remaining Link 2s, the old gang, IP Masquerena and SPLK. This is just the sturdiest Link 2 for Pendulum. You know, it'll run away, come back at the end phase, now you got 2 more arrows to Pendulum summon to. If you can't afford this, just play Pit Knight Arlie instead. It's basically the same thing. 1 Exceed the Pendulum. I did see that top 4 guy from Texas who played 2, which I think could be good. I didn't have room though. I also don't have a second one, but I think I'm fine with 1. I got Access Code Talker. Maybe Boral Sword will be a better boss for me. I mean, it's pretty easy to make with Exceed and whatever Exceed summons, but we're only playing light and dark Link monsters, so you can't destroy very much stuff with this guy. And we got Underworld Goddess, the actual boss. You can Pendulum summon everything, and then use Beyond as 2 Link, and 2 of your guys, and their worst guy, and then you just suddenly got a nice Towers, with good stats. Yeah, good stuff. That's it for Link monsters. Onto the Synchros, we got Symphonic Warrior Rocks as our Beyond the Pendulum, Pendulum Evolution enabler of choice. This might seem silly because like I don't have to go out of my way for a level 7 synchro. No, not at all. You just use Chronograph Sorcerer. Or if you had a good enough opening hand, you can use Beyond the Pendulum to search for Bunbuku, and then synchro with Lightworm to get into this. You add back your Chronograph Sorcerer, rebuild your scales, do second Pendulum Summon, and then the other thing you can do with it is use Ignister Prominence to destroy it, and then shuffle your high scale out of the way, and now you have a Sakuretsu Armor as part of your end board. It'll also get you more pluses from your extra deck to, rebuild your hand and rebuild your scales if the opponent starts to break your board. Ignister Prominence also just an amazing boss to have. You got that non-targeted shuffling, very important for breaking boards these days. Still a great effect, in just like Madolche Tiara Misu. I'm still playing Supreme King Dragon Clearwing. Theoretically, 1 Darkworm is all you need to be able to set this up. You just leave Gate Magician in your face-up extra, use Exceed to summon Darkworm to the field, and once you have Lightworm ready in your hand, you leave the Gate Magician in your face-up extra in order to enable Lightworm and synchro for this. It hasn't come up for a while, but it is just really nice for breaking boards. You might surprise your opponent just by activating Lightworm's effect. You could chain block it if they have something. I decided to add Chaos Angel. This is surprisingly easy to summon. I don't side Bestials anymore, which would go great with Lightworm. If you could play the Fiendsmith, I guess, for like a level 6 light to pair with your many level 4 darks. But currently the easiest way is to just use Beyond the Pendulum to search for Chronograph Sorcerer. And then when you Pendulum Summon your Supreme King Gate Magician, you synchro that with your level 3 Dark Time Gazer, and now you got a vanilla and chocolate flavored Chaos Angel to just rule the field with. Good backup line if you get Mulcharmied or just like otherwise negated into the dirt. Just be like, hey, beat my completely unbeatable Chaos Angel. Unless they have Sinful Subversion, I guess. That's it for the synchros. Still got Abyss Dweller. This deck can make it really easily by Pendulum Summoning some level 4s back. Sometimes you don't have enough, but I mean, Ignister Prominence will summon one from the deck for you. And you can probably return a Darkworm back to your hand with Lightworm or something. Yeah, this goes great with Secret Village. It means you don't have to search Necro Valley. Like this plus Secret Village, very few things can play through that. We got the rank 7 into Omni Negate package still. We're gonna play this forever, I think. And the last thing is the Zark ingredient, Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Technically you can make it and it'll beat 2 Kashtira Fenders. But yeah, better to leave up as a target for Supreme King Gate Magician. It's the only one that isn't dark. Can't be Bestial. Might as well pick this one. That's it for the extra deck. On to the side. I decided to play this again because it was searchable. I figured I might see some Runick decks. I guess the Azamina stuff would really not like this either. But the problem is we don't have a way to like destroy our low scale and then scale this. Maybe it's an extender, but you have to -1 to get it out. It's not actually that practical. Even if it's searchable, there isn't really a practical way to implement it. So I think I rather would have sided Purple Poison Magician as a way to out Floodgates. Still got Ignis Phoenix. I side this in for going second because I can summon it from my deck with Ignister Prominence and then destroy it to shuffle something, and then Majesty will come out and I can discard a card and get Raidsoth in my hand to have a great follow-up for next turn, or maybe second Pendulum Summon the Kashtiras. I think I'm going to keep siding this. I decided to side in 2 Pank. Maybe it's a little silly in 60, you're unlikely to see this stuff anyway. But still great to just Pendulum Summon. I even side it versus Tenpai when I plan to go first, because you can just destroy their field spell or like whatever they summon first, so they can't summon Chundra out of their hand. I got 5 Steel spells because, like I said, you just need 1 Pendulum Monster to link summon Beyond the Pendulum. So this is a great way to break boards. Unfortunately, these all target, so you can't just take Desiree and Desiree will negate this. I guess you can use it to force Desiree, but maybe it's just better to play level 7 Kaijus instead. And we got 2 more interesting field spells to try for going firster. This is great versus Tenpai because you sit on your link 3 and they can't summon seals. This maybe isn't that good because it'll negate Exceed the Pendulum and Kashtira Birth. And I decided to side 3 Dark Ruler No More last minute. I never saw this, and I'll show you what I should have sided instead. And the last card is Scarlight for time. I usually swap out Abyss Dweller to throw this in for going second anyway, because it's similar to the Supreme King Clearwing, but your non-tuner doesn't need to be dark. You can just use like your Majesty Pegasus, or yeah. I mean, if you think you're going to go into time, you can pay 12 to be on the pendulum, but then make this and activate it, and you'll win 68 to 65. So what I should have bought in instead of purple poison instead of Messiah, and instead of the 3 dark rulers, should have put in anti-stun components and things that destroy Nightmare Pain, and thing that just destroys Tenpai and makes it so they can't play. And yeah, here's the second Kirin I would have thrown in instead of Vector Pendulum. So yeah, really similar list to last video. I'm gonna work on this more. I think I'm gonna just put in Wakaushi and Magispector Yada for sure, with Tilting Entrainment and Performapal Celestial Magician. Might go in on Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer and Trismegistus, like go for a more level 4 spellcaster theme. We could summon out Majesty Pegasus Draco Slayer as well. Yeah, Tilting Entrainment with Celestial Magician will lock out your opponent's monster effects before 5 summons. I didn't see any Nibiru this weekend, but it's just really nice to lock him out on that. Anyway, enough of being interrupted by the airport overcom. Bye-bye.